I guess they draped a
Oh yeah, he was sleeping like normal, but we took, I think it was like an Izar or something.
Yeah, they draped an Izar over me. Here. This is what I look like.
they actually made him look.
So I look like a shrouded body, basically.
The guy's like, oh, I don't think he's breathing. So he goes over and
Oh, that's funny.
He slowly pulls his arm and his face just slowly reveals.
Yeah, I'm just like,
just sitting there.
yeah, I just like,
Oh,
he wakes me up and I'm just like,
that's funny.
Yeah, he just rose like super slow.
I wasn't very happy with it. Like, I wasn't mad at the guy, but I was like, really, you woke me up for this? I checked the time.
Well, I mean, yeah. Looking at that picture, that's what I think. I was thinking, well, when we're gonna pray on this guy, you know?
Well, it wasn't like the event had come in or anything. It was just like there was still like 40 minutes till the event.
Yeah, this is wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is lesson 1 because the last one was the introduction. So I don't count the introduction. Introduction is 000. This one's 001. All right. So let's begin, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. You drove here yourself or what?
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all came in 3 cars. All right. Yeah, where did you park? Because there's no place to park now. You had to go down, didn't you? Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, because it's old, man. This time of night too, on Saturday night in this neighborhood.
Yeah, your car's basically like gone.
No, I'm worried about him about to be gone, trying to go find his car. I think we might have to walk out with you, man, just to make sure you're all right, inshallah.
Bring this beer.
Yeah, something. All right, so chapter 1, benefits and rewards of fasting. All right, so now we're gonna get started, inshallah. So, قال المؤلف غفر الله له ولأولاده. I am sure you have heard a lot of people speak about the different benefits of fasting. Some people will look at fasting from a medical standpoint, and now these crackheads, akhi, no, that's one, because this is a different live stream, you know, and they always want to talk about that, you know, like, oh, you know, this is what I'm going over, right? Where it's like, oh, fasting. Well, the doctors say that fasting it improves your nervous health, it improves your digestion. Yeah, hey, nobody cares about all of this. We're not fasting for the health benefits, huh?
My stepmom said that, and she does fast for the health.
No, but I mean, okay, well, your stepmom's not Muslim, right? Yeah, so I mean, a non-Muslim, you know, from the kuffar, like fasting, they're gonna do it for health benefits. But I'm talking about Muslims trying to sell the benefit of fasting. Yeah, the benefit of fasting is that it improves you in taqwa. That's what we're doing it for. We're doing it as a means of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I love food, akhi. I love food. I'm not giving up food just because of what? I mean, if it's health benefits, I eat healthy, but I'm gonna eat, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just go hungry and thirsty all day long and give up all my desires because of the health benefits. But this is what the people tend to focus on, because they're not calling the people to what the real focus of fasting is what? Taqwa. Increases in taqwa. And that's the issue here that I'm speaking about, like in this, what I'm basically ranting about here in this part of the first part of the chapter 1. So I said others will look at fasting through a different lens and say that fasting allows us to feel what the poor people feel. And that was another thing I remember when I was growing up in the Islamic centers of America, you know, at 15, 16, 17 years old. You know, oh, you know, the benefit of fasting is that we get to feel what the poor people feel. I'm like, I'm poor. I don't need to feel what poor people feel. I know what poor people feel because I am one. So I guess that means I don't need to fast, you know, because I know what the poor people feel. But yeah, again, it's another wrong interpretation. However, we fail to realize that poor people fast too. Fasting was not prescribed for us for its medical benefits, nor was it prescribed for its social benefits. Fasting was prescribed for us to increase us in taqwa. That increase in taqwa comes from our obedience to Allah. Allah said in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So لعلكم تتقون, not لعلكم تشعرون بالذي يشعر به الفقراء, you know, or لعلكم تستفيدون من هذه الفوائد الصحية. No, لعلكم what? تتقون. Okay, so all you who believe, كتب عليكم. كتب عليكم, it means what? Whenever you see كتب عليكم, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala كتب عليكم كذا, it means أوجب عليكم. قضاء, you know, like this, he legislated this and he made it binding upon you. It made it an obligation upon you, prescribed, as you see in the translation, it was prescribed for you. كتب عليكم الصيام. So the fasting has been prescribed for you. كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم, just as it was prescribed to the people before you. لعلكم تتقون, in hopes that you will what? That you will be people of taqwa. All right, so this, the whole purpose of fasting is to increase us in that taqwa, to bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, so that's why, you know, fasting obviously was not prescribed. I mean, it wasn't just only for what? I mean, obviously it's made wajib for Ramadan, you know, but is that the only time that it's wajib? Huh?
I know of another time when you should fast, but I don't know if it's wajib.
No, and what's another time that it could be wajib? Huh? That's not wajib. No.
If like I know that you should fast if you're like unable to marry and you're desiring.
That's not wajib, huh? What? Nope, not wajib. Yeah, all right. So some people said, Mustafa said an oath. Mustafa also said if it's an expiation. Yeah. So if you did a halaf, like for example, wallahi, I'm not gonna do this ever again. And then 5 days later, what? You do it again. All right, yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Not fornicating. It's not about fornication. If you had relations with your wife during Ramadan. Yeah, not fornication, but yeah, if you had relations, yeah, sexual relations during Ramadan, not during the day, yeah. But also if you made an oath, you know, so if you made an oath, then it's that specifically that fasting. Like for example, you say, "Lillahi alayya," you know, "Som shahr kada wa kada," and shufia maridi. You know, like for example, like if a person says, you know, it's for Allah, you know, my oath to Allah, if I will fast this entire month, this whatever, if the person, like, you know, like the person who's sick, like close to me that's sick, you know, it gets shifa, it gets cured. So that person gets cured, then what? Yeah, you have to fast those 30 days. It's binding.
Allowed to do that?
Huh?
Is that allowed to do that?
What?
If this person gets cured, then I will fast this amount.
It's makruh, but it's allowed. It's disliked, but it's allowed because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned about the nadar. He said, "Innama yustakhraj minha al-bakhil." That basically all it does is bring out this, you know, it brings out the what would normally be stinginess. The person would not do the action except for what? Just in a normal situation, he wouldn't do it. But now, because he made this oath, now he has to do it. So now he starts to act. Now he'll fast, or now he'll give this money in charity, and now he'll do these different things of these good deeds because now he has to. Otherwise, he wouldn't do this. So I know some people that literally made these nadur, like this nadar, just to make them do things that they wouldn't normally do. You know, so yeah, you see people like this. His grandmother used to make another for fasting the whole entire year. Yeah, she would fast every single day of the year except for the 2 Eids and the Ayyam al-Tashriq.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, your grandmother, not my mother, your mother's mother. Yeah.
So but with the oath, you're first before fast is to feed the 10 people, right? If you don't, oh no, I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking about.
No, yeah, well, no. If you broke, that's a halaf. If you said, "Wallahi, I'm not going to do this," then no, you got to feed 10 people. If you can't feed them, then you clothe them. If you can't clothe them, then you fast 3 days. Yeah.
And it can be the same 10 people, or one person.
It could be one person 10 times, or it can be you can feed 10 people at one time, or you can feed 10 different people at 10 different times. However, what the people used to do because I had like neighbors that were from Hadramaut, and they used to do this a lot. So they would invite 10 people, and they all get invited all the time. You know, one of them did some halaf and then broke it and Yalla, we get to eat nice food.
If someone like say, okay, they make an oath, they break it, but then they they make the same oath another.
That's what you talking about. An oath? Are you talking about a halaf, or are you talking about another? The another is conditional.
Well, like I said, well, I'm not
like if I'm saying, like for example, like my son's sick, and I say, okay, Ya Rabbi, if you heal my son and you give him shifa, then I will, give away all of my books or something stupid like that, right? Which I would never. I mean, well, yeah, I guess if it was between having my son and my books, yeah, I definitely want my son, but still, I could buy my books again. But just an example, right? Then if he gets cured, then no, it's an obligation. But you're talking about a halif.
Yeah.
That's swearing. That's not making the oath.
Okay.
You swear by Allah that you're gonna do something, do it. You swear by Allah that you're not gonna do it, don't do it.
So, but if you break it, like you say, well, I am not gonna do this, and you break it, you do that, and you haven't fed the 10 people yet, and you say, well, I'm not gonna do the same exact thing, and you break it again. Is it 20 people, or is it still just?
No, because it's two different. That's two separate oaths. Two separate times. Yeah. Don't like, if you're not gonna do something, just say, I'm not gonna do this anymore. You don't say wallahi. Or if you do say wallahi, say wallahi, I'm not gonna do this, inshallah. Because at least if you connect it to the Mashiach, then it's not binding upon you. Really? Yeah. I shouldn't have told him that, because like that was always my secret with my kids. Wallahi, if you do that one more time, I'm gonna blah 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 blah. I'm gonna break this and break this, or I'm gonna break your phone. And then I walk off and say, inshallah. Because I know that they might be dumb enough to do it again, and I don't want to actually break their phone. So I say, inshallah. But they're old enough now, so it doesn't matter. It's not gonna. But yeah, I used to do that with you guys when you were younger. I always say inshallah, but I say it like low so you couldn't hear it. But yeah, don't connect it with the Mashiach. Don't.
If you break the same one multiple times, every time you re-break it again.
No. Once you broke it, Khalas, it's done. That's it. It's over. It's finished. But once you say it again, now you bind it. It's binding upon yourself again. So, all right. So, you want to check on your car?
Yeah.
All right. So it said fasting was prescribed for us, so that perhaps we have taqwa. We give up our desires for the pleasure of Allah. The things that Allah has made halal for us are given up, so we can obey Allah's commandments. We do not fast for medical purposes. We fast only to seek the pleasure of Allah through obedience to Him. This is important to understand, so when you go into fasting, you have one motive and no ulterior motive. Because obviously, so everything, the intentions are the most important thing. You can't go into Ramadan with the mindset of what I'm fasting because, I want to lose 10 pounds or something like that. No, you go into the fasting of Ramadan with the whole purpose of earning the pleasure of Allah, and that's it. Nothing else. No second motive. Not trying to feel what the poor people feel. I'm not trying, only with the sole purpose of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want the reward from your Lord, you need to make your fasting solely for Him. We can understand this from the following hadith. And Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala Allah azza wa jal kulli amali ibni Adam lahu ila siyam fa innahu li wa ana ujzi bih wa siyamu junnah fa idha kana yawm sawmi ahadikum fala yarfuth wa la yaskhab fa in sabahu ahadun aw qatalahu falyaqul inni sa'im والذي نفس محمد بيده لخلوف فم الصائم أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك للصائم فرحتان يفرحهما إذا أفطر فرح بفطره وإذا لقي ربه فرح بصومه متفق عليه. So we're going to go over this part of the hadith because there's two separate narrations. So Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, he said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, where is he? Is he okay? Do you see him? Go out to the street and put on some shoes because he's been gone for a minute. Yeah. I'm starting to get worried now, man. We might have to take the live stream out to the street. Yeah. Pokey says I'm okay. Safe, he says I'm okay. Pokey 796.
I was just having to stare down with this other car on the street because they were just sitting there. So I was gonna leave, but then it was like, what are they doing? So then I stared at them. Then they weren't leaving because I guess they were staring at me. And then they left eventually. I won.
Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind? Do you know where you are? Can you please educate our
Well, now I know what the issue is now.
Ibrahim?
Thinking back on it.
Educate Hans on how don't stare at people in cars sitting on the side of the street.
Don't do that unless you got the stick on you.
No, man, you trying to get killed, Achi. No, don't. If they see you're Muslim, they're probably just looking at you why you're dressed like that. But don't. You see somebody staring in a car, just keep walking. Mind your own business, Achi. Because ain't nobody sitting in cars around the streets over here at this time of night right now up to anything good. Someone to come out of the house. And get Which house? That house down there? The one that they sell drugs out of, or which one? So it's like, which one? Because probably that house right there, drug dealers. That house over there, drug dealers. Come on, man. Don't do that, man. Don't just get in the stare down with somebody in the middle of the street. Ooh, where's Abdul Malik at, man? Abdul Malik could give you some good advice, inshallah. Well, Muhammad Fatima's here. So Muhammad Fatima could tell you what would happen to you sitting there getting to stare down with some dude sitting in a car in the middle of the street. In this area of town. Nah, man, you gotta be careful, man. Just go to your car, check out your car, just keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah.
Put you on a t-shirt.
We won't even put you on a t-shirt because that's not even permissible. No, so you won't even get that. Okay? Yeah, you won't even get the t-shirt, man. So here, all right. So this hadith reported by Abu Hurairah, reported by the messenger from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said all of the actions of Ibn Adam lahu is for him. Like basically he's gonna get the reward for it, right? It's for his own benefit. Illa siyam. He said, except for fasting, for innahu li. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, except for fasting, before verily is for me. Wa ana ujzi bihi. And I'm the one who gives the reward for it. And I reward for it. Wa siyamu junnah. And the fasting is like a shield, like a protection. Protection against any type of evil. It protects you because you're giving up your desires, and your desires are what causes you to fall into stupidity. فَإِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ صَوْمِ أَحَدِكُمْ. So if it's the day of fasting for any one of you, all right, then he said what? فَلَا يَرْفُثْ. He shouldn't have, involve himself in just foolish and obscene type of talk. All right, وَلَا يَسْخَبْ. And like raising his voice and arguing and yelling and quarreling with the people. All right. He said, فَإِنْ سَابَهُ أَحَدٌ أَوْ قَاتَلَهُ. So if a person were to insult him or speak bad about him or try to fight with him, then he says he should say what? فَلْيَقُلْ إِنِّي صَائِمٌ. Now the ulama, they differ as far as how he should say this, whether or not he should say it to himself to remind himself that he's fasting, or should he say it to the actual person. And either way, you look at what is going to be beneficial because, some people, they're just stupid. They don't care about you fasting. So, but the point is like, you either say it, you can say it to yourself in these sa'im just to remind yourself that I'm fasting. I'm not going to, respond to this foolish speech. Or you can actually say it to the person if you think that there's a benefit. Like, yo, akhi, I'm fasting. It means I'm not, but most people, they're not going to understand that. So فَلْيَقُلْ إِنِّي صَائِمٌ وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدٍ بِيَدِهِ. And then this now is the speech of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, because he was narrating the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he said, and he said, I swear by the one in whose hand is the soul of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. La khalufu. La khaluf, it means the what? What does that mean? Yeah. The khuluf is like the smell of the mouth. All right, but the khuluf of fam as-sa'im, like the smell in the because obviously when you're not drinking water, especially if you ate like a majorly big meal, then you start fasting. the smell that starts to change in the mouth over time because you're not drinking water, you're not moving that food, you're not moving anything along. So that smell in the mouth to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said what? Atyab. It's more fragrant, more nicer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala min rih al-misk than the smell of the musk. He said, "Lis-sa'imi farhatan," and the sa'im, the person who fasts, he has farhatan, like 2 times that he is happy, like he has 2 times of happiness. All right. So he said, "Yafrahuhuma," these 2 times that he can be happy. Either aftara fariha bi-fitri. So if he breaks his fast, he feels happy. You know that first drink of water. Oh, but not forget the first drink of water. Because I know you guys remember this better. Breaking your fast with that first drink of Zamzam. And then having some of those dates like sukari from Sardinia, and you just feel this like, wow, this feels so good, man. Oh, this feels so good. Yeah, so that's the first faraha. All right, the second one is what? Well, I keep losing my spot. He said, وَإِذَا لَقِيَ رَبَّهُ فَرِحَ بِصَوْمِهِ. And when he meets his Lord, that he's going to be happy with his fasting. This hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. He said, وَهَذَا لَفْظُ رِوَايَةِ الْبُخَارِ. And this is the wording from al-Bukhari. Then he said, وَفِي رِوَايَةٍ لَهُ يَتْرُكْ. And this is another narration. He said, يَتْرُكْ طَعَامَهُ وَشَرَابَهُ وَشَهَوَتَهُ مِنْ أَجَلِي. He said that he leaves off his food, like his food and his drink and his desires for me. As-siyamu li wa ana ajzi bih. He said, fasting is for me. And this is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fasting is for me, and I am the one who rewards with it. وَالْحَسَنَةُ بِعَشْرِ أَمْثَالِهَا. And each good deed has what? Is you get the reward of 10. For every good deed, you get the reward of 10 good deeds. وَفِي رِوَايَةٍ لِمُسْلِمٍ. And then another narration is narrated in Sahih Muslim. كُلُّ عَمَلِ ابْنِ آدَمْ يُضَاعَفْ. So every action from the actions of the sons of Adam, يُضَاعَفْ. يُضَاعَفْ, it means what? Like multiplied. All right, multiplied. Hamid Jamal says, Safe, could you check Telegram?
So if you do indulge in obscene language or raise your voice or get in a fight with someone, does that break your fast?
No, it doesn't break your fast, but it reduces the reward. It reduces anything that you partake in. Is the only thing that breaks your fast. We're gonna get to that. We're not gonna go over that now because that's a whole chapter in itself. But those things don't break your fast. They just reduce the reward for it. So he said, "Kula amali ibn Adam yudha'af al-hasanatu bi'ashri amthaliha." So each good deed is 10 times, and it gets 10 times the reward. Ila sab'ati miyati dhif, to up until times 700. So it can go from 10 to 700 times. The reward.
Of what you do while you're fasting?
No, any good deed. All right. So this is not just about fasting. It said kula hasana, any good deed. Call Allah Ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Illa som, except for fasting. فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. He's saying that this is for any good deed that it goes from 10 to 700. He said, except for fasting, he said it's for me, and I give whatever I want. I reward the person whatever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could reward you 1,000,000 times. But it's not limited to just those 10 to 700. That's for any good deed. But fasting is open. Allah gives whatever he wants for it. So he said, فَإِنَّهُ لِي وَأَنَا أَجْزِي بِهِ. يَدَعُ شَهْوَتَهُ وَطَعَامَهُ مِنْ أَجْلِهِ. He leaves off his desires and his food for me, for my sake, for me. And طَعَامَهُ يَشْمَلْ what? يَشْمَلْ شَرَابَهُ. So if it's mentioned food, then it's also, obviously, it's going to include drinks. So it doesn't mean, it's just food. No, it's food and drink. أَجْلِي لِصَائِمِ فَرَحَتَانِ. So for the faster, he has 2 times of happiness and joy. Farahatun and the fitrihi, happiness and joy that he feels when he breaks his fast. Wa farahatun and the liqa'i rabbihi, and the happiness and joy he feels when he meets his Lord. Wala khulufu fihi atyabu 'inda Allahi min rih al-misk. And the smell and the mouth of the person who's fasting is better and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the smell of the musk. All right. Just read this last paragraph, inshallah, then we'll stop. All right. So from this hadith, and this is from page 17, from this hadith, we can clearly see that Allah stated fasting is for Him and Him alone. Our intention for fasting is the obedience to Allah. If we look at the narration in Sahih al-Bukhari, the translation states, the person observing the fast has abstained from food and drink and sexual pleasures for my sake. Obviously, you see the translation is just desires, but that's the desires that are specified. That shows that we only give our desires up for the sake of Allah and to be obedient to Allah's commands. Basically, we're not giving our desires up for what? The health benefits, or for the, to feel what the poor people feel. No, we'll only give these things up. We'll only give them whatever we do. It's only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not for any other purpose. We have no other motive. Our only motive is to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, all of these types of things, man. Come on, man. Let's sit here and fast all day for what? I mean, for what purpose will we do that? Questions?
Say this first question for you. As in, you're going to have to read it.
I think this is a carryover from the last one.
Probably.
So في الصحيح ترغيب وترهيب الشيخ الألباني يكتب سقط من الأصل فلا أدري هل أقرأ الحديث بزيادة بين قوسين على الناس. I mean, you just read what's there. That's it. You read what's there. Whatever you see that's mentioned in the hadith. Because we go through this all the time with al-Adab al-Mufrad. There's different narrations, I'm just gonna read what's in the book. So until you have the ability to go back and check the handwritten manuscripts on your own to see what the original wording is in class, you read what you see in the book, inshallah.
Is it permissible to sell courses about programming to non-Muslims? I don't know who will buy the courses, and I don't know what they will use it for.
I mean, what do they normally use those courses for, anyways?
Yeah, all types of courses. Like just a lot of them are self-development. A lot of them are courses like coding or anything computer. Like
I mean, you can't control. Again, look. I mean, you can't control what a person is going to do with what you sell that person. Whether the person is a Muslim or a non-Muslim. But however, if you have knowledge that the person, like we spoke about this issue over and over and over again. If I'm selling grapes to Ibrahim and I know that Ibrahim's gonna go and make wine with those grapes, then it's not permissible for me to sell those grapes to what? Ibrahim, because I know that he's going to use them for haram. But I can say, well, I'm not going to sell grapes to a kafir because maybe. No, we don't go by maybes. All right, so we don't know what that person does with it is not in our control. We can't control, because anybody could do anything evil with anything that you sell. I mean, if you really think about it, right? You sell a knife. I mean, you could just be selling knives for cooking, but he's buying a knife from you to go stab his cousin. You don't know. You don't control, what he's going to do with the knife. And you can't assume that you're just going to assume that he's going to use the knife for what you're selling it for, right? So unless you say, oh, man, let me buy that knife. I need to go stab my cousin. You're like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm not selling you the knife then. All right. So that's the case where you know that the person's going to use that thing for something haram, oppression, or, anything like that, then it's not permissible. I mean, so no, it's not permissible to sell in that circumstance, because what you're selling is not haram. It's just what the person's gonna do with it. What the person does with it ends up being haram. So you don't control what the person does, unless you know for sure what that person is going to do. You don't sell weapons to the kuffar, and that in a time of war where they're fighting against the Muslims. Again, that would be stupid, right? Because you know what they're going to use the weapons for.
What's the distance a woman has to be for a man's salah to be broken?
To what?
What's the distance a woman has to be for a man's salah to be broken?
No, she walks in front of him. She walks in front of him, and he doesn't have a sutra.
What if it's like 20 feet in front
of him? Oh, that's inshallah no problem. Well, he should have set up a sutra, except for the only exception they make for that issue is in the Masjid al-Haram. That's it, in Mecca. Because when you're in the Masjid al-Haram, you can't control that. You can't control it. You can't control. People gonna be walking in front of you, men, women, children, everything's gonna be walking in front of you there. So that's the only exception that they make in regards to that.
What if the brother has no support?
And it's like
Tell
3
them to
feet.
put up a sutra.
And it's like 3 feet. No sutra, and it's like 3 feet in front.
30 feet.
3.
No, if it's 3 feet, that's too close. I will go back and pray this a lot over again.
Assalamu alaikum Ustad.
But they stipulate that it has to be a woman. Like she has to have reached the age of puberty. It's not just any female, like a 8-year-old girl or 9-year-old girl walks in front of you in salat. It's not going to break your salat. She has to reach the age of puberty.
Assalamu alaikum Ustad.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How should one control their emotions and advise Muslims who downplay their sins by saying only Allah can judge me?
Tell them they're crackheads.
I just heard the soft click.
You heard the click? Did he
Yeah.
click it? That's good for you.
It's a very soft click.
Yeah, I mean that's we follow the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't follow Tupac. So I mean, people are gonna judge you, akhi. People are gonna judge you, and even Umar ibn Khattab mentioned that. So you take that narration, we're gonna judge the people by isma mimma dhahara lana min a'malihim. So whatever your actions are, whatever appears to us from the people, that's what we're gonna judge the person by. We see a person who's trying to follow the sunnah. We see a person who, he's trying to learn the deen. Akhi, this person, maybe when he goes home, we don't know what he does in private, but that's not our job. That's not our business. I mean, a person can sit here, right? Sit in the masjid with us, study hadith, memorize the hadith, go home and smoke weed and fornicate with a girl. We don't know what he's gonna do in his free time, in his private life, and that's not our business. And the only thing that's our business is what appears to us. We're not gonna go searching and spying on him and trying to find out what's he doing behind the scenes. No, we're too concerned about what we're doing behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? We're too concerned about our own sins and the things that we got to correct in our own selves to be busy worrying about another person. But then you have a person whose outward actions are just garbage, akhi. He's not hiding his sins, sinning openly, no concern, no regard, no hayat, no nothing. Yeah, you act like a crackhead, we're going to treat you like a crackhead. You act like click. You act like a righteous person. Well, that's the treatment that you're gonna get. The problem is when people, try to base all their dealings with people on false assumptions and suspicions and things like. Nah, akhi, listen. If a person comes to me and the appearance of good, I'm gonna give him that treatment. What's going on in my head about the person is not. That's just could be wasawasa shaitan. Could be a lot of things, but we don't judge a person based on those types of things. There are people that I knew in Yemen. I said, I know this guy is a spy. I know he's a spy. But because of what? Brother had a beard, brother wore a thobe, and he tried to be. So you still give him good treatment because you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because what? I'm a human being. I could be wrong. So I mean, there's no doubt I could be wrong. I'm wrong most of the time. So, so it's not. It wouldn't be like some spectacular event if I was wrong. So, but we judge the people by how they appear. So if you want to change the way people judge you, change the way you appear. Change your outward actions. Well, first, but to change your outward actions, you need to change what's going on inside, because a person who has no shame as a Muslim has no shame to go out in public and do just all types of sinful acts out in public, because obviously a Muslim was trying to do good and he's fallen into bad things. He's going to do his utmost to do what? To hide those things. He's not going to try to have them publicized, because he knows what he's doing is wrong. He feels shame. But then you have other people, they feel no shame. He's happy to know that that he's smoking weed and he's messing around with some senoritas and all this type of stuff. He's happy for you to know that. And then that's like that person is gonna get the utmost, he's gonna get treated like a crackhead, akhi, and we're gonna have no respect for that. Because how can we respect you and you don't respect yourself? You carry yourself with dishonor, you carry yourself with all types of just nonsense, akhi. I didn't hear no click. You click. All right. I mean, you don't honor yourself. You don't respect yourself. And I always quote that line from Zuhair, from his mu'alaqa, where he said, "Man lam yukarram nafsahu la yukarrami." You know, he said, and whoever does not honor himself, he'll never be honored by the people. So the first and foremost thing, if you want to change the judge, honor yourself. Honor yourself. And and the only way that you can honor yourself is by what? And obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's honor. That's being distinguished. If you don't want to do that, then don't go become a crybaby and a victim when people judge you by how you're acting. Only God can judge me. Akhi, we're gonna judge you. People are gonna judge me. I'm gonna judge you. You're gonna judge me. We're gonna judge each other because that's natural. You're literally telling the people, don't be human when you're around me. Don't be human. Like, what do you want us to be? Like dogs? You just feed us and we're gonna love you no matter what happens? Akhi, we're not farm animals. We're human beings, akhi. We have intellect, we have emotions, we have all this stuff going around, and we're fighting on a daily basis, akhi. So you think we're gonna do? We're gonna judge you. So you want to change the judgment of the people, change how you act, change yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself, and the people will respect you. They will respect you. And you'll see when you start to change your behavior, you're going to start to see the actions and the way that the people will treat you is going to start to change. It's going to start to change. So Allah musta'an. That's stupid. Only God can judge me. Wallahi, I wish I could kick every person who said that in the mouth. Wallahi, I wish it was permissible. Every Muslim that tries to say that, if it was permissible, I just like kick him in the mouth. But it's not permissible. You can't kick a Muslim in the mouth. Why? It's part of the face. Yes. إِذَا قَاتَلْتُمْ فَاتَّقِوا الْوَجْهِ فَاتَّقُوا الْوَجْهِ. If you fight, if you get in any fight amongst yourselves, then stay away from the face. So can't kick a person in the mouth. But a kafir doesn't have those rights. Yeah. Well, I mean, a kafir is a kafir. Khalas. I mean, we don't have good judgment for a kafir aslan. Kafir running around talking about playing a victim and acting like a crackhead, akhi. That's we expect that from a kafir. I don't expect that from a Muslim. For my brothers, I don't expect it. I expect you to act with honor, akhi. I expect you to act, if you are gonna do bad deeds, we're all falling into bad deeds, akhi. Cover that stuff up and be shameful. Act with shame, like act with haya. We're all gonna fall into things, akhi. My past as a Muslim when I was young, akhi, is just completely salt and peppered, akhi. Salt being the good deeds and the pepper being the bad deeds, akhi. And sometimes it was just pepper, a little bit of salt, But akhi, you try your best to cover that stuff up, akhi, and live the best life and make tawbah. And don't get angry when people judge you, akhi. You need to start judging yourself more. If you judge yourself the way that you should be judged, you wouldn't be acting like a victim and crying like a baby every time somebody says something about you. Allah musta'an. You ain't got time for emotional dudes, akhi. I'm assuming that this is a man that said this. If it's a woman, then I mean, sister's gonna have to deal with that issue.
Any advice on truly accepting a physical defect, especially when people make fun of you and give you a hard time because of it?
Accept it. This is the way Allah created you. Allah created you like that for hikmah, for a reason. So accept it. What are you gonna do? There's nothing. Crying about it's not gonna change it. Being disappointed and angry about it is not gonna change it. So if people want to laugh at you because of that, then khalas. I mean, what is it gonna do to you? Just keep. Again, it's all about carrying yourself with honor and respect, and you keep doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, and you're gonna move far past them. Take that as motivation to start doing things to move beyond the people. Because if you have like a physical defect, does that stop you from seeking knowledge? Does that stop you from doing the things that you're supposed to be doing as a Muslim? So I mean, I would take that and just use that as anger to just propel me to just keep doing more and more and more. Try to read more, memorize more. And just, Allah raise you above the people, akhi. Those same people that be laughing at you today will be coming up to you, 5 years from now, 6 years from now, asking you questions. Yeah, Sheikh, what do you say about this? Yeah, Sheikh, what do you say about that? But they won't be laughing at you no more. So I mean, don't get caught up in all this stuff with the people. People are silly. People are foolish. Most people. Illa man rahima rabbi.
So this question just reminded me of a question I've been meaning to ask for a while. So I'll ask this question after I ask my question.
No, ask that question first and then ask your question.
Like
you can ask your question on anytime.
my mom changed her last name to my dad's. I learned that isn't allowed. What can be done?
Change it back.
I know. I'm gonna go back again.
No, you don't. We don't change our family names. With marriage, you keep the same family name. Nothing changes. So the woman should change the name back to her original name. This is what the kuffar do. This has nothing to do with this. Everybody, because that messes up how it messes up the lineage. Because now she's doing like she's putting herself into like a family that she's not from. It's not permissible. So yeah.
Sorry, so that leads into my question so my dad, his dad was adopted. And so when he was adopted, he took the last name of the people who adopted him. And then he passed it down to my dad, and my dad passed it down to me. So because my grandfather wasn't related to the people he got his last name from, is it permissible for me to still go by that last name?
I mean, if that's the only name that you know because they adopted them. But if you can do research and find out who the original parents were, like my grandfather was adopted by a Smith family. His original family, we know what his original family is, Lightbody. I don't know what type of name that is, but that was his family name, with Lightbody. So that was the original family. So we know because they have records, but sometimes, especially if they're if they but that's from my mother's side, so it doesn't really matter anyways because it's not my family name anyways. But that's the Smith side. But so yeah, so but not always, that's not always going to be the case. That's when the family actually literally gives the baby up. But sometimes they, back in those old days, like the early 1900s, they might have just left a child in a basket on the porch of an orphanage and ran off. So they don't know who the parents are. They have no clue. But if they have records, because they have birth records of the baby, assuming that the baby, as long as the baby was born in a hospital, they're gonna have birth records. And then obviously the parents would say, "Oh, this baby, this is his name, whatever." So they can go back and check the birth records, and if you could find out what the original family name is. Well, who's this? Is this from your father's side or your mother's side? Yeah, I mean, if you can go back and check it, then check it. But if not, I mean, he was adopted, so it's not nothing that you can change.
So if I can find out the original name, I should take that name instead?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll go back to the question. Is it permit? No, I already asked that one. What's the ruling on meat slaughtered by machines where they say Bismillah and then they press the button to slaughter the chickens in front of them?
It's not permissible. It has to be slaughtered by hand, and it has to be slaughtered by a Muslim. Even a Muslim who doesn't pray, it's not permissible to eat the meat that they slaughter. So what about a machine? No, it's not permissible. It's haram. It's considered.
Even if the Muslim's operating a machine?
That doesn't matter, because he's not the one physically slaughtering.
What if it's slaughtered by a Christian?
Huh?
Slaughtered by a Christian.
That's worse, Akhi.
But can you eat it?
If he says Bismillah. Yeah.
No Christian's gonna speak Arabic.
Well, I mean, in the name of God. Okay, whatever. But yeah. The asl of the meat of the Christians is halal unless we know that they're doing something in some way that doesn't make it permissible.
They have to say
They're saying in the name of Jesus, and they're electrocuting it and not, or whatever, then it's not permissible to eat it.
But they have to say it.
What?
Like they have to.
We don't know, but we don't know if they say it or not. The asl of it is that you can eat it. If you know for sure that they're not saying Bismillah, and they're not slaughtering it properly.
What Christian's gonna say in the name of
All right, but we don't know that for sure. So it's like I said, the asl of it is permissibility until you know that they're not doing it for sure. We don't know because we haven't been around hardcore Christians. We don't know what they do when they slaughter. I've never been around them. I haven't gone on church retreats to slaughterhouses. So I don't know. So I can't speak about that. I'm telling you, the asl of it is permissibility. To take it out of permissibility, you have to have evidence, clear evidence, not like this type of like guessing and hypotheticals and yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Kamit's question and then I gotta leave.
Ouch! You just hit your head. Huh? Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask Kamit's question and then I'm gonna leave.
Is that the Telegram thing? Did he have a question or something?
No, yeah, he said, Ustad, there's brothers who love to practice the deen, but they hang out and go eat with people who do sins openly, but say, I'm giving nasiha, and you have to be nice with them. What should we do?
No, you don't hang out with people who are committing sins openly. You can give them nasiha without hanging out with them. Without no, you hang out. You stay around the believers. That's who you stay around with. واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه. Be patient. Right? Keep yourself patient with the people who are calling on their Lord night and day, and all they want is they're seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's who you keep yourself patient with. You don't hang out with the people of sin. Especially people who sin openly. You can give them advice. Go give them advice. When you see them, give them advice. But that doesn't mean you hang out with them and you see them, because again, we're going to judge a person based on the company that he keeps. So if he's constantly in the company of sinful people, then what are you going to think about? You're going to think, oh, I'm advising them. Are you advising them, or are they advising you? Who's advising? We don't know who's advising who. And you stay away from that. Not part of giving advice is not hanging out with people. This is a misconception where people, they don't understand that. And mujalasa, like the la tujalisu ahl al-ahwa, right? Don't sit with people of desires, period, because they bring sickness to your heart. You're going to be sitting there like, for what? That whole time that you're eating, joking and laughing, how much of that time are you actually giving nasiha? And how much of the time are you just buddy laughing and joking about stuff that has nothing about the deen? It's obvious if the person's openly sinning, then obviously they're not concerned too much about the deen. So how much of that conversation is going to be about the deen? So that's stuff that brings sickness to the hearts. Being around people who sin openly, it brings sickness to the hearts, because their hearts are diseased. And the longer you stay around them, then they start to disease your heart. That disease spreads. You have to be careful. And so you give advice to the people. That doesn't mean hang out with them, joke and laugh with them, go out, just chill with them and drink coffee with. No, you go, you give them advice when you see them, and you keep it moving. Your time spent with the believers. Is that it?
It's not it, but I'm happy.
All right. Well, Ibrahim, you taking over the question and answer thing? We'll take like one or two more, then we're gonna go, because I know you gotta go. You got a foggy drive home. How's the fog now? Is it worse or is it the same? All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Basically, he's asking, like, what do you think those like apps or Telegram groups for marriage that there's no pictures, there's no like describing body features, and for the female, the wali isn't involved.
The wali is involved.
Yeah, he is
as long as you're in contact with the wali, akhi, there's no. That's it. That's how it should be. If these apps are just bringing you closer to like where you can get in contact with the wali, but still be careful, akhi, because I know all the scamming and stuff that's going on in the internet, man. You got to be careful though. And just make sure that you get married from people that you know, families that you know, like at least where you can go and investigate. It's like people going overseas and getting married in these countries where they don't live. Actually, I don't ever advise that type of thing. Go there and live with the people, see the people, like know who the families, the good families are, the bad families, and know what to look for in the family before you just get married to any girl. Be careful, because Allah mustaan. And then the same thing for the sisters. Don't just marry any man just anywhere. You have to be careful, because the situation with the women is a lot more difficult when they get married than the men. So, the men, I get married to the girl, she starts acting like a female crackhead. What? Yeah, you're divorced. Get out. Bye. Go back to your father. Done. It's over. What does a woman do when she gets married to a man and he starts acting like a crackhead and she can't get out? She wants a khulak, but he's not giving it to her. She wants him to divorce her, but he's not going to divorce her. So women have to be extra. Like the sisters have to be extra careful when it comes to this. Make sure that you really, really do your due diligence and research, and make sure that you're marrying the right person, and pray istikhara.
What about for like sisters? Like advice for them to get married, to find a righteous husband if their family doesn't support them, like in looking for marriage.
He's dua. That's it. The only thing that you're gonna find is with dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives it to you, He gives it to you. Doesn't He? Doesn't. That's it. Who else can give it to you if Allah doesn't give it to you? So who else can you ask if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not gonna give it to you? So you You ask Allah. That's it. You make dua.
We have heard some speakers saying that people should get medical treatment for mental illness. How did the Salaf deal with this?
I mean, it depends on what if it's an actual mental illness or if it's a jinn issue. So I mean, I don't like you go and get treatment for mental illness from who? From kuffar? We're gonna load you up with medication and just basically deaden all your senses and put you on like the most, like I think we went to go pick up the brother Abdul Malik just to show you, like, for yesterday for Juma, right? When we went to go get him to go to the Masjid Fresno. And you know the house that he has, one of the guys he came out, he got loose. He came out in the driveway because I was honking the horn. And he comes out into the driveway and he said, he didn't see us. Like he did not even like recognize that we were there. He said, I was told the man with the leg to stay right here. Now where's the man with the leg? And then he walks off, right? So I'm like, the kids are just like, what? I'm like, that's it. That's it. This is what the treatment of mental illness amongst the kuffar. This is what it's going to do to you. You're going to be that person. You're just going to be so doped up out of your mind that because we used to be in the masjid. My son used to be playing basketball, Asset, and he used to be up in the top window yelling out, Bart Simpson. Hey, Bart. Bart Simpson. You remember the crazy guy? So yeah, I mean this is what it does. This guy's just his whole life is between two drugged up states, drugged up into what he does to himself and what the government gives to him. Yeah, you don't go to the enemies of this deen and seek anything from them, especially not drugs for your mind. You got to be out of your mind, especially if you go back and you read the history of psychology and what the different programs that they've done, through this with the CIA and all this type. Oh my God, you would never take anything that they give you. You deal with that with the Quran, with Afkar, and that's it. That's the way you deal with that stuff. But you don't deal with that getting like no. Go to the enemies of this deen. But you have to have a person who's, well versed in dealing with these issues, That's it. All right. Well, okay, one more, man, then we'll go. Because I thought there was one more. Sorry. I just don't feel like getting up right now. So I'm like, oh, next question. Because actually now I'm kind of getting ready for dinner now, huh?
A brother who has been through repression.
Whoa, look at it, look. Huh?
A brother who's been through repression and injustice asks, how does one reconcile between not having victim mentality, looking at those below you, to not belittle the blessings of Allah, and actually not demeaning and making what happens to you meaningless, and ignoring it, and not hearing from what trauma, and not healing from that trauma.
So I don't know, because each person deals with this stuff in different ways, man. See, my whole life I had two things. If you did something wrong, I mean, well, obviously this is like pre-Islamic thinking, or not pre-Islamic, but messed up Islamic, like, when I was still young and probably carried this type of thinking. I mean, I still carry this thinking even to today, but it's not the same as it was before. If you do something wrong to me, I got two choices. Let it go or kill you. You understand? But there's no, like, in my life, there was never a third option. I'm either going to let it go or you got to go. One of those two things, right? So obviously now as a Muslim, the second option is not an option, because you just can't go around and every time that you feel that you've been oppressed, take it out on a person, because we don't have authority for that. Whether you're going to beat them up or whether you're going to take his, whatever, it doesn't matter. We don't have the authority to do things like that. So you only have that other option, to let it go. And I don't mean let it go that you let it go. No, I want my rights on the day of judgment, Akhi. But I'm saying you let it go, because why am I going to sit here and punish myself thinking about the stupidity that you did to me? And I'm going to sit here and live with that and have to revisit it and revisit it and revisit it. So to the point where I'm causing depression for myself. I let it go. And that's why, like I said, when my mindset when I was young is like, either you're gonna go or it's gonna go. I'm gonna let it go, or you have to get out the picture. Something's gonna have to happen. But I mean, like I said, that's just not feasible as a Muslim. So the easiest thing that you can do now is just what? It's what? Akhi, if you show your true colors to the point where you oppress me and do something wrong, Akhi, I got nothing to do with you. I lose nothing in my life because my life has been lived without this person in my life, and will continue, inshallah, to be lived without this person in my life. You don't have that type of attachment with people, because if you have that type of attachment to people to where their actions and how they deal with you completely knock you off the tracks, then that means that you're not focused on the things that you're supposed to be focused on. People are going to, this is what people do. And people, they come in different shapes and sizes and mentalities. So this is what you're going to have to deal with. You're going to deal with people that are going to oppress you, people that are going to insult you, people that are going to take your kindness for weakness. So what are you going to do? You're going to fight everybody? You're going to try to, you're going to become a serial killer? What are you going to do? Just because everybody that disrespects you, you're going to what? Okay, this is foolishness. Let it go. Like if there's real doom, like you see, like with the Houthis and like the Shia, the Rafida, we fight them. That's it. Like I said, you get out the picture, but we're not letting it go. You have to go. That's a whole different issue. But when we're just dealing with like the dealings between us, you gotta let that stuff go, because if you're focused on all this stuff with the people, you're not focused on the things that you should be focused on. Your priorities are out of whack. Get your priorities straight. Your priorities are pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And maybe these problems that you're facing with the people are probably because of the disobedience that you've done to Allah. You haven't been, and I look at this all the time. Like I look at my son. Sometimes my son, he can be a handful, akhi. Yeah, of course. He can be a handful. I love him to death, but he can be a handful, man. Like he's not trying to be disrespectful, but it comes off as disrespectful, right? But then I get angry. I'm like, what are you doing? You need to stop talking like that. You need to show some respect. But then I'm like, well, who am I to tell him that he should listen to me and obey me when I disobey my creator? Well, if I want him to obey me and act right to me, then I need to be acting right to what? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need to be acting right with him. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make right everything between me and him, and between me and the people. But if you're constantly disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you're worried that the people are oppressing you, well, you're oppressing yourself day and night. You oppress yourself day and night. So what's it now that the people oppress you? So we gotta understand too, like a jaza'u min jinsil amal, that all of our actions, there's gonna always be a reaction, but it might not be the way that we see it. We disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then other people come and do what? And do something wrong to us. This is a part of that punishment, akhi. So you also got to accept those types of things and be accepting and just move on. Try to focus on just fixing yourself. All of us, wallahi, if we just focused on fixing ourselves, akhi, we don't have time for the people. I don't have time anymore for what people say. I could care less, akhi. I could care less. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like, wallahi, it does nothing. Like, if you took like those things that the people here at the masjid, they lied about me. They said about me, akhi, wallahi, if they would have said those things 20 years ago, wallahi, it'd have been a bloodbath. Wallahi, it would have been a bloodbath 20 something years ago. But akhi, it's like you just get to the point where it's like, why? Why would you allow these things? They're just foolish speech from foolish people. People that have nothing, akhi, no bearing on this life. Nobody even cares what they say when you really look at it. So akhi, nah, man, focus on the things that you have to do to bring yourself, get you where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises you, and Allah is not going to raise the oppressors. The oppressors, they get dropped. But the people who constantly remain in the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises them. That's what you need to focus on. And Allah knows best. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.